Alright, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to deal with these pesky flip-flops and also how to run the clock by using the clock part instead of a digital stimulus. So we're going to start with that. We go to our parts and we go to digital clock here. We'll place one. Because it's not going to let me actually test it without having something next to it, I'll just place an inverter, but we don't really care about that. We'll test it right here. So just the clock information. So we double click on our clock and we set the on time to 1 second and the off time to 1 second. Now the reason we do this is because when the clock pulses, when it goes high, we want it to stay high for a full second. When it goes low, we want it to stay low for a full second. Microseconds is pretty fast, so we just want to bring it up to our level of speed. And start value here is 0, meaning that the clock pulse will initially begin at a 0 value. And this will make a little bit more sense when you see it in action. So if we go up to analysis, we have to set it up first. We get rid of this. Instead we're going into transient, and we'll set our print step to 1 second and our final time to, let's say, 10 seconds. Okay, so we save our schematic and then we simulate. And bada bing, bada boom, here we go. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And if you notice with these partitions here that it goes from 0 to 2 seconds, so this would be 1 full second off, 1 full second on, 1 full second off, and it just repeats like that all the way through. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy. That's how we get our clock. Let's now add the flip-flop, which is the more troublesome of the two. Now, the purpose of this video isn't to explain how to make this circuit. I'm merely just going to build a 2-bit counter just so that we can see the flip-flops in action, but we're not super worried about the actual outcome of the counter, just so much that the flip-flop actually does what it's supposed to. So I'm going to quick feed in a few things to make the counter work, but don't worry too much about this. The stuff coming up in a second is really what we care about. And we'll test here, and we'll test here. And here, one of the issues that people have is that if you notice here, it says pre and clear, and they have a little bar over them signaling that in order to do a preset, you have to have it be a 0. In order to clear it, it has to be a 0. We don't want to do that at any point in time, so what we're going to do is we're just going to make them 1 at all time. So to do that, you can probably put a plus 5 volts, but I know for a fact that it works if you do a stimulus, stim 1, and you plug it in, and then in the stimulus you just set it to 1 for 0 seconds, so it'll be 1 for eternity, and then that'll go to this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. They're all connected, so they're all 1. So that's all fine and dandy. And here's where the issue comes in. Now, if we were to save and simulate right here, we would get a problem. The problem is this. We have our clock pulse. That's still totally fine. But now we have these red bars, meaning that the flip-flops just aren't working right. The reason that it doesn't work is because it's a sequential circuit, so it actually depends on the previous value of whatever the flip-flops were in. If the flip-flops don't have a previous value, then they just kind of run home to mama because they don't know what to do. So to easily bypass this, we're going to go into analysis and setup, and then we're going to go into digital setup where it has this box that says flip-flop initialization, so we can predetermine what it is at the beginning. Let's say all 0s, close, close, save and run. And there we go. The flip-flops are now working in proper order. And if you were to draw this out, the flip-flop is indeed counting here. So it would go from 0, 0 to 0, 1 to, I think it changes here. It goes on. I'm not going to do that part here, but I did draw this out beforehand. So it does actually work. And that's how you get the flip-flops working. So that's all there is to this video. Hope it helps.